Hi, this is Fernando Aguirre, and this is week 1 of the GrabTheApple Preparedness University. During these weeks, we'll be talking about survival and preparedness, and it will be mostly focused on my personal experience on the 2001 economic collapse here in Argentina, where I live in Buenos Aires. I'm 30 years old. I'm an average middle-class person. I'm married. I have 2 kids. One is 7, and the other one is just turned 1 year old. And we have a pretty average lifestyle for a middle-class couple. What we believe is important, and the lessons we'll be teaching are based on personal first-hand experience, and it's not theories or suppositions or anything like that. It's what has worked for us. It's what we've been doing successfully, and the hard-learned lessons since the economic collapse. All right, so I believe it will be a valuable experience for you, because it's experience that has cost us a lot of time and money, and a lot of, in some ways you could say a little bit of suffering regarding some things. So please keep those things in mind. It's not just suppositions or theories or what we believe. It's what we've been doing successfully. Now, also please keep in mind, this is what we do. This does not mean that everyone in this country thinks just the same way. It's different people, different mindsets. Most people here in Argentina do not have a survival or preparedness mindset. There's not even a word in Spanish for preparedness. It just simply doesn't exist. People just get by as well as they can. In many ways, it's not what I would recommend or what I would advise you guys. Regarding many of the troubles people face in life in Argentina and in many other Latin American countries, people have a more religious attitude towards it. They say, okay, it's God's will, or it will be whatever it will be. So we don't embrace that kind of mindset, neither here in the Grab the Apple program or on our family ourselves. We believe it's important to have an active attitude towards problems and do everything we can, everything within our means to prepare for them. And well, God will have the final word as always, but it's our responsibility to take care for ourselves. Okay, week 1 will be mostly an introduction. I'll be talking a little bit about what has happened here in Argentina, how things have changed since the 2001 economic collapse. What happened mostly was that our country simply got into so much debt that, well, it collapsed. We had so much debt, it was too big. Our currency was pegged to the dollar, 1-on-1, and it simply wasn't real anymore. I believe this is a familiar issue in United States for a lot of people, how things have changed recently. Well, yes, it's about debt. In our case, in Argentina, it wasn't personal debt. We didn't have the kind of debt culture you guys have in USA. Our problem was mostly regarding our government. Our government was the one that was getting in debt in our name. So it wasn't that Joe Average was owing $50,000 or $100,000. It was that the country itself was owing that amount of money per citizen. We never had the loans you guys have. We didn't have average people owing money. We had the entire country go into debt because of corruption, because of, you could say it was a bit of a planned scheme. The International Monetary Fund was giving us more money than they should have been giving us, knowing so. Okay, it wasn't just, it's something, blame should be divided into the local politicians, corrupt politicians, and international corporations that knew very well what was going on here and what they were getting into and the consequences that would have. Okay, you do not give away money to people like Menem, like President Menem, who is just spending it crazy and you know he's not gonna pay. Okay, that's all planned. All right. In the end, the economy just couldn't sustain itself, the lie of 1 peso, $1 just collapsed, and in December 2001, the situation wasn't tolerable anymore, and we had to devaluate our peso to 3 pesos, $1 situation. That caused a lot of riots because we were already having economic problems in many other regards. This kind of exchange simply destroyed our local economy. It was simply it was cheaper to import things instead of producing them here, and that's also something I believe you're familiar with. And that destroyed our local economy, our local productive economy. We didn't have actual things getting built here. It was all coming from abroad. So well, that all fell and went down in 2001. The Corralito was soon installed. The Corralito was simply freezing people's accounts, and for months people just couldn't take money out of their own accounts. They simply had, I believe, 100 pesos or so available per day. It was a very complicated situation. All right, riots broke out in several cities, even in the outskirts. Supermarkets were getting looted because people were simply hungry. We had like 25% unemployment, and well, after that, that was the most visible part of the crisis, the revolution, as you could call it. After that, things still kept changing, but it wasn't as visible as the riots and violence. We had other kind of violence regarding crime, regarding poverty, etc. What we're going to be doing now is I'm going to be driving a little bit around my neighborhood. I'm going to be showing you a bit how the suburbs of Buenos Aires are, how things have changed. We'll be talking about it, how people adapted to it. It's not the end of the world, okay? It's not that the world ends in any mysterious or glamorous way. The world doesn't end, it just changes. And that's what I'm going to be showing, how people, even middle class people or upper middle class, how they had to adapt, how they had to take into account lots of security issues, how people just simply cannot live anymore without burglar bars, and how having an alarm is simply a common sense idea, how people have adapted in every other way to the crisis. Even if they don't realize it, people simply had to adapt. What we did is take it a step further and did just everything we could to adapt to the situation. Okay? We don't leave anything just hanging and hoping for the best. We do our best ourselves. And then, well, that's all we can do. Alright, so we'll now be driving a little bit around, and then we'll be heading to the downtown area of Buenos Aires, the capital district, and I'll be showing you the contrast there, because the capital district is of course much better than the suburbs. The capital district is where all the money is going to keep things going, to keep a positive attitude, to keep a good looking face for the tourists. And you know, the capital district is the face of the country, so it has to look good, and you'll be seeing just that. Okay? Hi guys, welcome aboard. Today we'll be doing a bit of a show and tell video, talking about how things have changed since the 2001 crisis in Argentina. Right now we're driving around one of the suburbs of southern Buenos Aires. This is pretty much the kind of place I've been living in for almost all my life, and it's a fairly nice neighborhood, as you probably can see right now. Houses they're okay, and you can see many of the safety measures I talk about all the time, mostly burglar bars on windows and in front of the houses. You can see also some of the security that we've got used to right now, such as this